Alright guys, we are back with a new series here. This is going to be a gold mining let's play. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, you know, I think it'll be a lot of fun. There's some new mods that have come out, some Lucifer, some just terraforming, all that stuff. It's finally in a good place to, I think, begin this series. So how this is kind of going to work is I'm going to start with kind of the bare minimum you need to kind of have an operation. So I've got a little bit of money, I've got a couple trucks, smaller trucks, I've got an excavator, trailer, and I got a bulldozer, and that's kind of all I'm going to start with. I think that way we have something to work towards. But anyways, guys, I think this will be a lot of fun. So let's get into it here. The first thing we got to do, obviously, is we got to clear some land. I do have terraforming on, so I got a little bit of rules here, so it's not too unbalanced. If I'm going to clear land, I have to use the bulldozer, right? I can't just use terraforming on the excavator to do it. And if I want to dig down, I have to use, you know, an excavator or a wheel loader, something like that. Basically, it just has to kind of be realistic in the way that I utilize my different equipments with the terraforming. So should be pretty self-explanatory. If you guys catch me cheating on that, go ahead and call me out, but I don't foresee that being too big an issue. I do have to cut down the trees manually. I think I have a chainsaw. I do have a chainsaw, so I'll cut them down, but I can use the bulldozer to get rid of the stumps because that's pretty realistic, I think. Hopefully it works. Otherwise, we're going to have a little bit of interesting time here. I do have a super strength mod on here, simply because some of this mining equipment is just a pain in the neck to move otherwise. So, yeah. I'm not allowed to cut this tree. What do you mean I'm not allowed to cut this tree? Do I not own this land? I thought I owned that land. Oh, I don't own that land. That explains things. So I got to go up the road a little bit farther. That actually kind of works out. So let's get over to the land we own, and then we can start working on clearing some ground here, and then, you know, get a pad down. I think we're going to put a pad with our washroom on this side of the road, and everything on the left is going to be what we're actually going to be mining for, if that makes sense. So I think this is about where we can go. So if I turn on the dozer tool here, I can probably just cut right through all this stuff. It's gonna let me cut down the tree. We'll see here in a second. Nope. I wonder at what point can I start cutting trees? That'll give me a sense where my land starts. All right, because if I can't cut down the tree, then it's not my land. Does it say I can cut this? Okay, so I cut that tree. So if this dozer lets me cut down that tree, let me cut down this one. It does. Okay, so we're gonna try that. Okay, not allowed to cut that tree. What about this one? Can I cut down this one? Nope, not allowed to cut that tree either. Okay, so I gotta go farther this way. Can I cut down this one? Okay, I can. So that's where it starts. That's where my property line is. So that's where we gotta move to. Which is fine, no big deal. I just missed my property. I'm starting without too much land here. I don't have too crazy high amount of land. I do have some land, but just not too much. Just so you guys see, I just have this one plot here, I think. That's all I have here. Yeah, that's the only land I have. That's a good start, I think. That should be enough to get going at a bare minimum. Oh yeah, this chops down trees. Nice. I just get stuck on the tree already. Straighten that path up. Lower that blade down. There we go. Above it's not straight. All right, now we can start clearing land. So pretty much we just got to clear a little pad here, at least enough space for us to put down a wash plant and a gold room. I do got to be a little particular about how I put down the wash plant, simply because if you put it down wrong, then you won't have anywhere for the material to go afterwards, but shouldn't be too big a deal. You know what, guys? I think this bulldozer is a little too loud. I'm going to turn that down. Let me know in the comments, is the audio good? Anything needs to be adjusted? Please let me know that so that we can get that all dialed in. Let's go with game settings, I want to say. No, general settings, I'm sure then. Volume, here we go. Vehicle volume, we'll just turn that down to 40. I just don't want it too loud so it's overpowering so you can't hear me. But, you know, you do still want to hear it. Got to hear the rumble of the engines. It's a lot of fun, you know, how that is. So, like I said, probably not going to clear out too big a space here. Just need enough room to put a wash plant down. And the gold room. But yeah, this should be a pretty fun series. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of potential here. Just so you guys kind of see what we're working towards. I have some cool mods here. Wrong thing. Let's go to the store. So these are kind of the mods I have installed. A lot of these are fun though. This is the big dog right here. This is what I want to get. This is the wash plant, the Lucifer wash plant. It's going to take us a while to save up for this thing. At $1 million, once you get this, you can kind of start rolling. There's rock trucks. There's some big rock trucks I have on here. I got this giant one. This thing's huge. You know, excavators, that sort of thing. I'll probably find some more mods and kind of install them as we go. I don't really have any mid-range equipment mods, which I'll probably need to find. I don't think we'll want to jump straight from the cheap stuff straight to the expensive stuff, you know. Or probably want to get something a little more in the middle. But, yeah, should be fine no matter what. Is that working? I want to cut down that tree. I thought I was supposed to cut down trees. Hang on, let me cut this tree down. Okay. I can cut the tree down. See if it lets me take the stump. Okay, so it will clear stumps. Doesn't look like it'll clear trees though, which is fine. I kind of prefer that anyways. So we're gonna have to log down these trees. Which is no big deal because there's a little more to do, honestly. We should get sprint with the chainsaw. But for safety reasons, you cannot. I suppose that's the reason, at least. Okay. Let's just move these trees out of the way here. We'll deal with those trees later. We will have to probably sell these. I mean, we could get some different source of income. We don't have to just do gold mining, right? We could get into some regular farming too. Might be kind of fun to do that. I don't know, guys. Let me know. What do you think? Should we just do mining, or should I use this dozer, clear out some land, and get into some actual farming too? I'm down for that, but I do think the focus we want is going to be mining, of course. But, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a alternative revenue stream here and there, just for easy use. Let's clear these logs here. Gotta remember how to crouch. Is it square? Gotta remember how to crouch here. No. Oh, there it is. Alright. There we go. Clean these trees up so I can put them in the trailer. That's a little dizzying. Nothing too crazy with this, just, you know, cleaning the tree off. Trees on. Is it on this one? There we go. Alright, that's probably good for that. This should be about good, honestly, for the pad. I don't need too big a space, like I said. I think if once I clear through here, I think we'll be good to go. Come on, baby. I gotta turn that back on. Is that not close enough? I could have sworn. Let's cut it lower, see if that works. Because this thing should plow through it. There it goes. Okay, so it does work, just a little finicky sometimes. Probably gotta get a little sweet spot for it to work. But yeah, this little rake attachment on the front's pretty cool. Really chews through the ground here, which is awesome. But definitely a lot more fun to do it this way than having like using the painter and stuff like that. Which painter's cool, has its use, but I feel like if you're trying to be realistic and like, it gives you something to do too, right? You don't want to run out of stuff to do. You gotta have plenty to do in the Let's Play. So doing this stuff by hand, a lot more fun than busting out the painter and just drawing a nice area, you know. But definitely want to clear this ground here so that we have a clear space of where we're working. I think that's going to be, for simplicity's sake, the easiest way to do that. And then, yeah, what should be good to go after that. And then as far as the gold plant, wash plant goes, I am going to use the wash plant from the RGC crew. If you guys have any questions on how to download any of those mods, I will have access to that in the description. There will be a tutorial video on how to install all that stuff. Maybe not all the mods are in there, but the essential ones. The rest of them shouldn't be too hard to find. You know, just like most of these are like FS miners mods, but all the actual mining mods are RGC. So just go to their website, check it out, or, you know, just go to the video in the description. That'll has all the links, all that stuff. So and a whole tutorial on how to mine basically in Farming Simulator, if you guys want to check that out. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good for a pad here. It's a good start. So let's buy the wash plant. So the wash plant, this is the wash plant. It's not too big, not too small. Nothing crazy with this first one. It's kind of little, which is kind of fun too, right? We don't want to get too big off the bat. So we'll just throw this thing down right here. I think that's as good a spot as any. So that's our wash plant to start, and then we'll need a gold room too, obviously. So I think we will put it. I don't want to put it too close. Could have room. We'll throw it down right here. We gotta have room for the tailings. I don't want it to get too overlapped. So basically, how this works, guys, is it's pretty simple. But you dig down, get pay dirt, put the pay dirt in here, put diesel and stuff in here. Tailings come out there. Gold comes out here. So not too hard, not too complicated, but it is pretty fun. So now what we got to do is we got to clear some land to mine in. So I think we'll do it over here on this side of our land here. So we'll start cutting the spot to mine. And I think so. I think that'll be the ticket. He's having a hard time cutting down trees, but he's doing it. Come on, Mr. Dozer. It's the stumps I want to get rid of. Is my blade too high, maybe? There it goes. Okay. It's a fine line with the blade, right? You gotta have it in the dirt, but you don't want it too high. So I think we're gonna go first person for this. A little more relaxing, a little more fun. Basically just drawing a straight line here. Just so we can kind of get rolling on this, I'm going to oh man, I'm getting stuck in everything. Can't see nothing. Yeah, I got a whole tree stuck on me. That's gotta be so like scary in real life. You're doing this kind of thing because they do that. They just use bulldozers and just I hit a button. They just use bulldozers and run this stuff over, which is cool and all, but definitely results in a lot of safety hazards, to say the least. All right, so let's just get this stuff out of the way a little bit here. All right, so I like I said, I am going to use super strength just because dealing with this stuff, it just takes too long, and I don't think it makes for good content necessarily to watch me monkey with trees and things like that. All right, you guys are here to watch me like mine, so which we will be able to do a lot more of if I'm not monkeying with a whole bunch of trees on the road all the time. So nothing too crazy, like I said, with this whole super strength, but we are going to utilize it a little bit at least when necessary, just for stuff like this to just kind of speed up the process a little, keep it clean, keep it nice. But I think this is a big enough little pad here for you guys to just kind of see. Cut down this one tree over here, actually. We'll get through this one little extra spot here, and this should be enough ground here for you guys to see how this is going to work. Come on. But, Yeah, we'll cut this last tree down, and that's big enough area to start digging. All right, let's get the digging here. Let's get these trees out of the way. We will process these trees in a little bit, guys. Don't worry. I just want to show you guys more or less how this whole... Oop, I don't want to do that. How this whole thing's going to work. Push that out of the way. Let's get this dozer out of the way here. Getting the excavator, we'll wheel this over. Okay, so I do have a terraforming mod installed, as you guys can see. And there's a couple settings that we have to have installed here. So the biggest thing is the materials. So whatever's coming in doesn't really matter, but the export we have to have is pay dirt, because that's what goes into the machine. And then what goes out doesn't really matter too much. Discharge texture, I mean, gravel's fine. Could change it to dirt. We'll see what this looks like, but that's just more cosmetic than anything else. And then discharge, we want material, and then I think import we want to lower. So that allows us basically to dig, and then the input's going to be a material. Yeah, so get this guy in here. Get him in a position to dig here. I'm going to cut this tree down real quick and get it out of the way just so we can see a little better. And then we'll put it in this truck, and then we can truck the truck over across the street to the gold plant, and, you know, dump that in and we'll be good to go. We might want to get a wheel loader or something like that pretty quick. Or a hopper or some sort of ramp system. I'm not too sure how we're going to want to do that yet, but we will want some system in place for that. So let's set this truck up. Probably right here is fine. That will work. Hop in the excavator here. I like to do this in first person. All right, so I got close bucket, left, right, in, out, up, down. And I am using a joystick, guys. Joysticks are great when you're doing this kind of thing. Got a link for that in the description if you guys want to check that out. But let's turn on our little bit of terraforming here. And now, as you guys can see, I can dig into the land. And then since I dig into the land, I get buckets full of dirt. See how that works, guys? Pretty sick, right? So I am going to leave... I think gravel is a good look. I feel like gold's in gravel quite often. Maybe not every time, but quite often. That's where the gold's at. It says I don't have access to this land, but I'm pretty sure I do. I'm almost positive about this land. I cut the trees down, so I had to have access to this land. So I'm definitely going to want a new truck here pretty quick. That might be number one on the agenda. As far as things to get. Let's get these out of the way here. Just throw these trees on up out of here. Get that out of the way. So I don't think I'll be able to dump this straight in unless I make some kind of ramp, which I may want to do. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to do that, actually. Yeah, we're going to want to make a ramp here. So I'm going to use construction mod for that, the tool, just because it's going to be so precise. Let's make a ramp here real quick. So we need to raise. I want to change the shape to square. Can I rotate? Can I rotate this? I do not know. There's got to be a way to rotate that, right? Use this tool a little bit here. I need to get as high a point as I can. smooth it out a little bit here. Okay. And now, actually, let's move this truck forward. Right there. Okay. Back in the construction menu here. Let's get a little slope action. So I want so target point. I change the size of this. There we go. A nice little ramp here. Okay, that should work. Now, actually, I might be able to lower it. Change the... Oh no, that's much worse. Actually, no, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. I got an idea. Okay, slope. Set the target point to that. Ah, nope, didn't want that. Didn't want that. There we go. Okay. I think it's about as good as we're going to get. That actually looks pretty decent. Okay, I think that ramp will work. So now I should be able to just back up this thing. Oh, that's actually a nice ramp. Look at me go. And then I can dump that into there. Paint dirt goes in there. Okay, and now after I save here, we will scroll down and I will show you the production and we'll show you how that all works. So if I go down to production now, to owned, I've got my gold room and my mini gold trommel. This is what I need. I do have to put some diesel in it, which I do have in the truck. I should be able to put this into it. But that'll at least get it started. I probably need a couple fuel trips, which is fine. Alright, so we're filling it with diesel. We got diesel in there now. And now we can get this thing running. So I think a mini trommel store. I want to store. I want to distributing. And I want to activate it. Okay, so it's activated and distributing. Is how it should work now. Okay, so now we just gotta fill it up, and then out popped will be the gold. So, like I said, guys, pretty cool here. So I think that's what we're gonna call this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe if you like the series. Don't forget to leave a comment what you guys want to see out of this series. I do plan on running this for a while. I hope to make this like an absolutely banging gold mine by the end of the series. But anyways, guys, leave a comment, let me know, and peace out.